Hey everyone, welcome back to the Track Limits podcast. I'm your host Swish with a wonderful guest co-host Sarah from GridClick. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you, Swish?
I'm doing great. It's not as hot as it was yesterday. It's still very hot in Toronto. We're here at Honda Indy Toronto with one of the most recognizable people on the IndyCar grid. Has raced multiple series. An incredible driver overall, driving for Andretti, Marcus Ericsson. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
How do you like Toronto?
I love Toronto. It's one of my favorite races, but also weekends of the year because I really enjoy the city. I enjoy coming here and spending time. A lot of good food, which is always and like the only sad part is that there's so many good bars and stuff. Like you want to go out and enjoy it, but obviously you're here for the race, so you can't really do that. But I always say when I'm here, like I need to come to Toronto in the off season or something. Just spend a weekend, watch some hockey. That would be a good weekend for me.
Are you a big hockey person?
Huge hockey fan. So follow the NHL a lot.
Were you also sad about the final? I mean, I know she wasn't, but
yeah. I mean, yeah, I thought it was a good final. It was good to see Edmonton come back, and then Game 7 is always fun in a final. So I enjoyed it, but yeah, it would have been nice with a Canadian team to win. Yeah. But getting closer, it's getting more and more. Yeah, better and better.
Each year. Connor McDavid has to win, in my opinion.
Exactly.
Anyways, getting a bit off topic.
This is a hockey podcast?
I was going to say, what's your team? But if we want to stay on track, we can stay on track.
Stay on track. Here we go. I'm curious, Marcus. There's obviously so much written about you. There's so much, so much media that you've done in the past. One of the questions I think we had was any race or event where you kind of felt, throughout your career, like, I can do this. I think some drivers, when they look back, they had imposter syndrome, where maybe even in karting or maybe in like your junior series, you didn't feel like you were cut out for it. Was there a particular event or race where you were like, I'm cut out for this?
It's a good question. I think, go-karting as a kid, it was more just for fun. So I think it didn't really kick in until I started racing Formula cars. It was more, of course, in go-karts, you're still like serious and you sort of put in a lot of hours, obviously. But yeah, when I got to cars, and I think when I won my first race in my first race weekend in Formula BMW back in the day, in the Formula BMW UK series, I think that was definitely one of those moments where it's like, okay, this is pretty good. Yeah.
I'm sure you've been asked this a million times, but going back way far beyond that, before karting, how did you realize or decide that racing was for you? Kind of what did that look like?
Yeah, so my family doesn't come from any racing background at all, so it wasn't like a natural thing where a lot of drivers, they have like their dad or mom or grandparents that's into racing. So for me, it was never like a natural thing to become a racing driver, but there was like a rental go-kart place close to my home, and growing up, I was always like, cars was like, I was obsessed with cars as a kid. So I think what happened was I just kept bugging my dad trying to go to that go-kart place and try it out, and I think eventually got tired of me just wanting to go there, so he let me have a go. And from that sort of first time trying, I was just hooked and just wanted to do it more and more, and for some reason had a natural talent for it as well.
No inclination to get into hockey?
I mean, I did hockey, so basically what I did growing up is, from being from Sweden, hockey is one of, probably the main sport in Sweden. So I would do go-karting in the summer, and then the winter was hockey. So it's like my two sports growing up, and then obviously the older you get, the more they sort of intervene with each other. So like when I was 16, I had to pick one of the two, and I picked racing, which was for sure a good thing. But it was still sad because I love hockey. I still love hockey. That's the cool thing of living in the US now. Like I can live my dream as a racing driver and still follow the NHL and go to a few games every year. So it's a good setup.
Brilliant. And then when it came to like transitioning from Formula One to IndyCar, I'm curious what the biggest change for you in that kind of, was it a mentality thing? Is it physicality in terms of how you adapt?
Yeah, I mean, both series are super competitive, obviously, but they're very different. I think Formula One is more intense in many ways because the season goes on for so long, so it's a very tough lifestyle. You don't get a lot of time outside that sort of racing bubble. I feel like IndyCar is a little bit more, you go to a race weekend and you go back home after, and you sort of get a bit more a normal life, if you can say that. Then on the racing side, I think the cool thing with IndyCar is obviously we all have the same opportunity, we all have the same car to work with, whereas Formula One is more a constructor's championship in a way than a driver. So obviously the drivers still make a difference, but if you don't have a good car in F1, you're not gonna win races. So I think that's the biggest thing coming here. That was really fun for me. That I was, in F1 in smaller teams, really struggling to, get the results I wanted or felt like I could do. It was not impossible. And then coming to IndyCar, I wake up every race morning and I know I can win today if I do everything right. If the car is right, I have a chance to win. And I think that was one of the big things that I loved with coming to IndyCar.
And speaking of coming to IndyCar and winning, you obviously won one of the biggest races that IndyCar has, the 500. What was that feeling like when you crossed the finish line? Like, what was your first thought?
Yeah, I mean, it was like an explosion of emotions, and that win was sort of, you spend all your career working towards a dream like that, winning the 500 or winning the F1 World Championship. Like, it's up there with those achievements, and for me to achieve that after so many years of dedicating all your life to it was, it's hard to describe like how much that means. And also that day I had my family there, my wife was there, like my people that's been supporting my career throughout. Like everyone was there for some reason. Like usually they're not all there at the same time, but everyone was there that day, and it was just sort of
That's
meant
fate.
to be. Yeah,
I love it. How's the milk?
it was good. I mean, I did pour it all over me, and I had to regret that after because I had to do like 5 hours of interviews after the win, and by the end of that 5 hours, that milk that was like,
oh god,
it was pretty gross.
I think for that moment, it's definitely worth
It was okay.
Yeah.
It was okay for sure. Yeah.
Does that mean if you win again or when you win again, you're not going to spill the milk over
No,
your
I
hand?
think I'm gonna just drink it and enjoy it. Yeah.
You regret it that much?
Just drink it. No, but I think it's mix it up next time.
I love that. And when it comes to physicality, I think we had Joseph on last year, and he talked about the fact that there's no power steering in IndyCar. It's very physical. What's the toughest race that you've done, and what made it so tough?
Yeah, I think both F1 and IndyCar are really tough physically to drive, but in different ways. Like you said, the power steering that you have in F1 makes it a lot lighter for your arms, but you have a lot more G-force in an F1 car with this cornering speeds they do. So it's still, I would say they are probably as tough to drive, but just in a different way. Whereas in IndyCar, it's slower cornering speed, but you have all that force through the wheels. So like your arms and shoulders and upper body has to work a lot harder. So you definitely have to be a bit more bulky in IndyCar compared to F1. But yeah, both are super physical. I think for me, the toughest races, for me probably when the heat is up. Like Nashville street course was always a tough one because it's so hot and humid. In F1, it was always like the Singapore and Malaysian races. So for me, it's more the heat than the actual track that makes it tough.
And how do you prepare for that? Are you going like to sauna or something?
Yeah, I've done some training before those races in like sauna or like heated room training to just get used to it.
Yeah.
So that's always good. And also when you get to a place, like when I would get to Singapore or Malaysia, I would try and go outside and do like running outside or exercise outside just to get your body used to working out in like extreme heat and humidity.
Yeah.
Sounds like a lot of hot yoga.
Yeah.
In your future.
I actually do with my wife. We go do hot Pilates.
There you go.
That's a good heat
It's
training. Yeah.
Keeping on off track, do you have any like current obsessions of shows or passions, hobbies?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I don't have. We watched that Sweet Tooth thing on Netflix.
Oh, yeah,
It's
yeah.
pretty chill. It's okay. So that one is fun. Yeah, I do. I get hooked to TV series. What was the last one I really enjoyed? I mean, my all-time favorites is Breaking Bad. That's like my
Amazing.
favorite series. So that's my number one.
I stopped at season 5.
Really?
I didn't continue. I don't know why. I stopped
it's
at
my
season
all-time
5.
favorite series. So I enjoy that. I enjoy documentaries, just like real life stuff. So whenever there's some good documentaries coming out, I try and watch that.
House of
100 Days
Drake.
to Indy.
Oh,
Sorry.
Yeah, 100
I was
Days
gonna say House
Indy.
of Dragon, but
Yeah, 100 Days to Indy is good.
House of Dragon and 100 Days to Indy are a little bit different, but they have some similarities.
One's accurate. No, I'm kidding. Let's get to some rapid fire. You
Yeah,
down?
go
All right,
for
cool.
it. Yeah.
We're going to pepper you with a few questions here, full of fire, full of rapid. Here we go. 1. What is one regulation change you'd like to see in IndyCar? Or just a change in general? Wave a magic wand.
Oh, rapid fire. Yeah.
And we
This
failed.
needs, yeah, exactly. I need to think for half an hour for this. Blue flags for lapped cars. Cool.
There you go. If you could temporarily trade places with one member of your pit crew, who would it be and why?
Oof. I mean, the driver is the best job, so I do enjoy that. I think the outside tire changes are pretty cool. Like that's a tough position to be, and they have a lot of responsibility, and like it's really hard. So, yeah, I don't know if I want to change with them, but like that's really cool.
Yeah.
If you had to choose one track or Grand Prix to race on forever, which one would it be?
Suzuka for me is my favorite track. Yeah.
I think we already answered this one, but if you had to choose another pro sport to be in, what would it be?
Yeah, that one is easy. I would be a hockey player.
What
for sure.
position?
I was a goalie.
Oh,
so, yeah,
wow, okay.
I enjoy I mean, I love hockey, so yeah, definitely hockey.
Did you have like a goalie idol growing up? I could ask you questions
Yeah,
all day, mate.
I mean, King Henrik
Okay,
Lundqvist of the Rangers, he was always like a big idol for me growing
And
up.
who would be your dream team to be on?
Oh,
The Flames.
That's a tough one. I don't have like a team.
Florida Panthers.
Yeah.
No,
I
everyone
don't
hates
have
the
like a favorite team. I follow more like players.
Fair.
So,
Okay.
but I mean, Rangers would be pretty cool.
Good one.
Amazing. What piece of memorabilia, racing memorabilia, would you like to own or do you currently own that you're super proud of?
I mean, my baby Borg. It's not really a race, but like the baby Borg you get from winning the 500.
Nice, yeah.
That's pretty. It's pretty cool to have in your house.
Yeah.
Otherwise, yeah, I don't know. Like, I guess I want to at some point try and get something from my 500 winning car. That would be pretty cool. Yeah.
Cool.
If you had to choose a celebrity to be on your team, co-driver of a race, but can't be Tom Cruise or Brad Pitt, who would it be?
Wow. Celebrity. And I cannot choose Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt.
Yeah,
Why?
they are
Because
the
they're
only ones off the
they're
table.
out, all right, so someone else then, some other cool actor then.
Yes, anyone else.
Ryan Gosling then.
I'd watch that. All right. What's the most over-asked question you get?
Difference between F1 and IndyCar.
Oh, no. You didn't start it.
That's actually a surprise. I would think it's, how did you get started in racing?
Yeah. True.
If you could only have one food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
I would have Japanese food.
Ooh,
So like that cuisine, I think is the best.
If you like, by the way, Japanese food, go to Chado Mate in Toronto.
Okay.
It's Japanese Peruvian fusion.
Oh wow.
Unbelievable.
Interesting.
It's near Union Station.
All right, I'll check it out.
I'll see you
Thank
there. If you could switch lives with anyone for one day, who would it be and what would you do?
Ooh, no, I would coming back to that. I would like to be a goalie in the NHL. I think that would be really cool. So yeah, I'll switch with what's the guy in the Rangers now? Shesterkin, I think, the goalie there.
I don't actually know the Rangers team that well.
Yeah.
No idea.
That's the goalie now.
I actually just got a Rick Nash jersey though, a Rangers
that's cool.
jersey.
Yeah,
I wear it
that's
around
cool.
Toronto. People hate on me, but
Yeah, that's not good.
I also think we already answered this, but what's your guilty pleasure TV show? I have to assume it's Breaking Bad.
Yeah, so Breaking Bad is my favorite, but what else do I like? I do enjoy MasterChef. I'm not a good chef,
Oh, wow.
but I like to watch MasterChef, like the Swedish version, but also the American version. Yeah.
Love that.
I love that. Well, thank you so much, Marcus. Definitely rooting you on. Any final words for the audience before we sign off here?
No, it was fun chatting, and yeah, hopefully people will tune in and watch some IndyCar racing. It's the best racing on the planet, so watch it.
Absolutely. Brilliant, guys. Thank you very much. We'll drop in Marcus's socials below with Andretti's socials as well. Give them a follow. Make sure to check out our other episodes, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.